Which is only fair because I chose Google, so he chose Alphabet.
The ultimate future of how you want to connect to other people in your life.
Hi, I'm the Google Assistant calling to make a reservation for a client.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, my name is Mano. Google is almost integrated into our daily lives, into our everyone's life, and we are at a position where we can't even live without it. Many other players like Microsoft Bing, Yahoo, Ask.com, MSN, Alta Vista, many others came into the search engine market, but they went home back in no time. How did Google become so big and so dominant that anyone who is entering the search engine market is going back home in no time? Let's see how in this video. The Google story begins in 1995, where Larry Page and Sergey Brin started working on a search engine at Stanford University. And initially there was an unofficial co-founder called Scott Hudson. He was the one who wrote most of the code for the initial version of Google, but he wasn't mentioned anywhere at Google because he left the team before they even registered Google as a company. And Larry Page started working with mathematics to combine backlinks and others to come up with a good search engine, and this was termed as Backrub. So they named this project Backrub, and Backrub was good at that point of time, and it was doing its purpose, it was serving its purpose, and it was indexing all the web pages properly. But Larry and Brin wasn't happy with it. They wanted something better. They can do something better. So they juggled with some mathematics and they came up with the famous PageRank algorithm. Yes, the PageRank algorithm is named after Larry Page. They tested the PageRank algorithm, the search engine which ran the PageRank algorithm a few times, and they were good to go. And the first ever version of Google was launched in 1996. It was ran on Stanford University's website with the domain name google.stanford.edu. And even today that website is functional, but it doesn't have much there. You can go check it out. And in the next year, 1997, they officially launched and got their own domain name google.com, and they shifted working from college dorm rooms to official office space which they rented in garage of Susan Wojcicki. Susan Wojcicki later joined Google as the 16th employee and then became an executive and now the CEO of YouTube. By the end of 1998, Google indexed almost 6 million web pages, which is something crazy which they achieved in a short span of time. And they were at their beta stages by then, and many papers and publications were posted stating that Google search engine is far better and crazy better than anyone else in the market out there. Google was getting some really good appreciations and traction from the market. But there was an issue. Google was born at the time when dot-com bubble was about to burst. This dot-com bubble means that in 90s there was a concept that if you have a company, if you have a business and a dot-com website, you might become a millionaire. There's a really good chance that you will become a millionaire. So everyone was storming in to become start their own company and start their own websites for the dot-com websites. So everyone was doing this, and people predicted that this bubble will burst somewhere around the 2000s. So Sergey Brin and Larry Page saw this and they wanted to sell Google to someone. So they went to Excite CEO and they said that, boss, I will sell you Google at a price of $1 million. And the Excite CEO was not impressed by them, and he didn't see the potential of Google and he rejected the offer. Later, Excite's venture capitalists convinced Page and Brin to come down to a deal of $750,000. But still, the Excite CEO was not interested in the project. He didn't see the potential in Google, and still he rejected the offer. Just imagine, Google is now worth more than $1 trillion, and they were about to sell it for $750,000. Just imagine the growth and what is the potential Google had. As expected, the dot-com bubble bursted, but fortunately, instead of affecting Google, it helped Google. Google was searching for office spaces and real estate, and all these things are available at cheaper cost at this point in time, and they were open to hiring people, intelligent people who lost their job due to this dot-com burst. But the issue is that Google wasn't earning much money at this point in time. So they wanted to earn money, they wanted to find a way to earn money. And one of the ways which they found was to display ads on the Google search results. But the issue is that Larry Page and Sergey Brin were completely against this idea, and they never wanted to display ads on the Google search results. But they still have to make money. If they make money, that is when Google goes to the next step. So Larry Page and Sergey Brin changed their mind, and Google introduced keyword ads which will be displayed on the Google search results on the basis of cost per click. So if you are displaying ads on Google, you will be paying for every single click. Till then, Google was just a search engine company and they didn't expect much. Google search engine was so efficient that people who uses it leave the platform so quickly because the search engine was efficient in getting the job done. And as a result, they didn't earn much from the ad revenue as well, in spite of many people using it on the daily basis. So Google wanted to expand, and this is where Google's brilliant strategy comes in. And Google went out to see all the market which are crappy out there, and they found that the email market at that point was the crappiest of all, because you gotta delete all your emails after you read it, and there will be a very less storage space out there as well. You can't search for all the, if you have 10,000 of email, you can't search one email out of that. Google did two amazing things no one else did by then. Google integrated their search feature inside an email system, which will find the appropriate exact email which you are looking for based on the keywords. And Google was the first one to introduce this feature. On top of that, they gave users 1 GB of storage space where they can store all their emails. And other service providers, email providers, were giving users only MBs of storage space where they have to delete the emails which they got constantly. But at Google, you can store your emails and you can go back to that anytime you want. And this is how Gmail was born. Everyone all around the world was talking about this particular Gmail thing, and everyone started opening their account. Google increased their user base and Google started growing its traction. Google can be called as the king of acquisitions. They made so many acquisitions. Some came out as a separate product, others got integrated as a feature into some of the Google's existing products. In 2005, Google made their biggest and successful and most prestigious acquisitions ever, which is the acquisition of Android. Android was dormant by then and Google wasn't serious about it. But in 2007, Steve Jobs introduced the first ever smartphone, which is the iPhone, which has a touch display in it. And everyone got crazy about it. It was a revolutionary product, and Apple's iOS started dominating the market as a whole. And this is when Google got serious about Android and they rebuilt Android and made it big. And even Steve Jobs considered Android as a competitor to iOS. And the next year, Google made their next big acquisition ever, which is the acquisition of YouTube.
Hi YouTube, this is Chad and Steve. We're the co-founders of the site, and we just want to say thank you. Today we have some exciting news for you. We've been acquired by Google.
Yeah, thanks to every one of you guys.
In 2020, YouTube made more than $15 billion in revenue, and which accounts to 10% of Google's annual revenue. Most of the features of Google are a result of acquisition. We all know this CAPTCHA thing which pops up while we try to log into a website and to check whether we are a human being or bot or an alien. This reCAPTCHA was initially a separate from, later got acquired by Google. Google's dominance killed almost every other player out there in the market. Yahoo was there consistently for a long time, even before Google was even born. Later they gave up because of Google's dominance. Microsoft tried its hand with Bing and they failed miserably. Google got accused for the same reason, for being a monopoly multiple times. In history, Google's biggest competitors were Yahoo and Microsoft, because Yahoo and Microsoft were competent enough to tackle Google's jab. So Google came up with this biggest strategy and brilliant strategy of focusing more on the user experience. Yahoo's products were great, but the user experience was not that good. Microsoft's user experience was good, but their products didn't meet the customers' requirements and needs. So Google hit the sweet spot by tapping into the sweet spot and providing products which has really good user experience, and the products will provide good value to the users as well. And as a result, they formed an ecosystem of products which allowed them to have more people into their ecosystem. So you can't download apps from a Play Store if you don't have any Google account. You can't create videos on YouTube if you don't have a Google account. You can't back up your WhatsApp data if you don't have a Google account. So all these products acted as a hook to attract more people to create Gmail account for them, and the ecosystem habituated people like us to use more Google products again and again. We can learn a lot from Google. If something's bad gonna happen, don't focus too much on the 1,000 ways in which it can affect you. Focus on the ways in which you can use it to your advantage. Google did this from the beginning. This is the same reason why .com crash didn't affect Google, because Google saw the opportunity in it. And if you don't have the skills, if you don't have the right amount of work and skills or your time to do that, delegate your work to someone else. Google did something similar to this through their acquisitions. They bought Android, they bought YouTube and added value to their repositories. And if you are someone who is building products, focus on the user experience more than anything else. Let's compare two products right now. Let's take two things like Google Google's Gmail and Microsoft Outlook. Both are good in their own ways, but it is clearly evident that Google's UI and UX and features are far better than Microsoft Outlook's one. And finally, if you are building an organization, rely on data more than your gut feelings. Google relies on our data a lot. We all know that Google got accused by this particular thing. They collect more data from users than they need. So Google is an organization that relies more on data. And an interesting thing is that the blue color used in Google was finalized after analyzing the data of 41 different shades of blue, which is quite interesting. And that's a wrap. That's it for me today. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, consider sharing this video with as many people as you can. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, and if you want to watch my other videos, you can choose from one from here, and I will see you guys next one. Bye bye.